Welcome, and thank you, everyone. We understand this is the last session of the day, and I really thank you for being here. This session is BIZ208, how to enhance your SaaS application with Amazon Quick Suite. We are going to talk all about how to get value as well as velocity with Amazon Quick Suite, as well as ISV, Independent Software Vendor SaaS applications. We will talk about what's not working, what has changed, and how you can innovate with your application in Amazon Quick Suite. With that, I'm Sonali Sahu. I lead the Global Specialist Solution Architect team focused on generative AI in AWS. And I'm honored to take the stage with Brandon Ittelson, Chief Ecosystem Officer of Zoom, as well as Bibhuti Sinha, Chief Product Officer for Savient. Brandon?
Well, it's wonderful to be here at Zoom. We're building a platform that is the AI-first platform for work. And as the Chief Ecosystem Officer, I'm all about how we build connections across the tools that people use every day to help create an amazing ecosystem of systems working together. So excited about the content in today's session.
Thank you, Brandon. Bibhuti?
Thank you all. Thank you very much for being here. And Bibhuti Sinha is Chief Product Officer of Savient. Our mission and motto is to secure and govern every identity, be it human, non-human, and now, of course, AI agents, which everybody's raving and talking about. So I'm really looking forward to talk about what we are doing in this space, how the overall identity security ecosystem is evolving, and looking forward to this session today. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Vibhuti. With that, let's get started. Quick agenda. A quick introduction about Amazon Quick Suite focused on specific features for your SaaS application. Then we will talk about two different SaaS application integration, Zoom and Savient with Amazon Quick Suite. Finally, next step and call to action. With that, let's get started. I will start out with something which feels very real to me. My everyday work used to start with opening up multiple different tabs and tools before even I get to my first email of the day. One tab for data, another for insight, another one to reach out to my teammates, another one for decision, yet another one to actually execute the action on that decision. Every single hop, every single jump slowed me down. It's a friction. And this is not the story of me alone. I know this is the story of every single user in modern day era. Can we give the time back to the employee so that they can focus on the outcome and decision and not this busy day work? For that reason, we have Amazon Quick Suite. Amazon Quick Suite, it truly reimagines how the modern day work happens. First, it collects, combines all the data. On top of the data, it offers agentic capability with custom as well as chat agent. If you have a need for automation, it offers quick automate as well as quick flow for orchestration work. Additionally, it offers deep research capability with your research agent. It also offers the BI capability. So you can think about Amazon Quick Suite as a unified agentic workspace for any user. And how is it possible? This is possible because of our collaboration, Amazon Quick Suite collaboration with our ISV partners. We are on this together. We are going to deliver end-to-end context, research, insight, everything in a unified platform wherever the work is happening. We truly believe that this can be delivered with an ecosystem that no one can deliver in isolation. And that is why when you combine the agentic AI capability of Amazon Quick Suite along with the deep domain segment or vertical expertise of our ISP partners, you get something transformational. You get the unified workplace where the insight flows effortlessly without any friction. And this is not something that is happening in future. This is already happening. So let me show you what are the features offered by Quick that your SaaS application can leverage to integrate and enhance with this. 2 pillars we will talk about. The first one is index data. And the second one is the actions. We will go one at a time and look into the detail of those pillars. Index data. One of the core foundation of Amazon Quick Suite, it says knowledge base and data sources. It can collect data from multiple different data sources, whether it is internal, such as your wiki or product page or internal communication channel, or it can be external, such as your project task management on Asana, or you are talking about your meeting summary from Zoom, or any other third-party application like Confluence, Jira. So all those data can be aggregated, combined, as well as indexed. Quick not only understands, but also maintains the permissions and access control set by the applications. It solves one of the persistent problems that we have been talking about to find the relevant information from the data source. It truly democratizes the access to your data with enterprise-grade security. It's the high-level overview of index data. Let me now show you how your SaaS application can integrate with this index data. I'll walk through this high-level flow. On the very left-hand side, you are seeing Amazon Quick Suite. As already discussed, the knowledge base and data sources, one of the core functional foundation for Amazon Quick Suite. That is there. It supports both structured as well as unstructured data. It supports end-to-end enterprise-grade security, security at rest, as well as security in transit. And now, this index data can be accessed from the SaaS application. On the very right-hand side, you are talking about your SaaS application. That is your live data, your customer data, your proprietary business intelligence. From your SaaS applications, now you can call into this index data. How that is possible? Because of the middle layer. That is the interoperability layer. And why are we doing this? We are doing this for our customers. Now our customers can access their index data from both Amazon Quick Suite as well as the SaaS application of their choice. They get benefits in 2 specific areas. One is clarity, and the second one is speed and confidence in their workflow. The first benefit, speed, clarity. So customers have index data. Your SaaS application now can combine this index data with the live data and can give the end-to-end context to your customer. So they get the clarity and the context. The second one, the speed and confidence in your workflow. Customer has one index data that is in Quick. Now the same golden data that they can access from the application of their choice. Not only the data we are talking about, your application can combine the index data, live data, your tools, your applications, and can give the enhanced workplace for the customers. That means they don't have to stitch together anymore any additional tools and applications. Now that we understand how this can be done, I'm very happy to share our partners who has already integrated their applications with our index. Our customers, they can go to these ISV partners' applications and can leverage the index data from that application. Now let's look into the second pillar, that is the actions. And again, I'll walk you through the similar, a little variation of the diagram, like how your SaaS application can be integrated with the actions on QuickSuite. On the left-hand side, it is Amazon QuickSuite. That is your AI teammate. In addition to the data, knowledge base and data sources, it also offers actions. It has over 290 actions already supported on Amazon Quick. You can also orchestrate this action with Quick Automate and Quick Flow. Additionally, Quick also supports a managed MCP, Model Context Protocol client. With few configuration parameters on MCP client, now customers of Quick can call into any MCP server or actions of their choice. As mentioned before, QuickSuite already supports the security at rest as well as transit. With the MCP client, it additionally supports different types of authentication. We are talking about three-legged authentication, 3LO or 2LO. So that is the left-hand side, Amazon QuickSuite and its actions. On the right-hand side, that is your SaaS application. That is where you will decide to host your MCP server that can expose both the tools as well as agents. Your tools can map back to your operation, CRUD operation, create, update, delete type of operations. Once you have the MCP tools as well as agents on your SaaS application, with the authorization of your customers, they can access those actions from within Amazon QuickSuite. How that is possible? Because of the intermediate, the middle layer that you are seeing in here. That is the interoperability layer, which offers both built-in as well as MCP, Open Protocol Standard. You can think about the middle layer as a bridge that speaks the common language to bring in Amazon QuickSuite on the left to the SaaS application on the right-hand side. So now you saw the end-to-end integration, how a SaaS application can be integrated with Amazon QuickSuite through an actions. And I'm happy to share that these are some of our ISV partners and third-party applications. Those are already integrated with Amazon QuickSuite. Our customers can directly go to Amazon QuickSuite and can see those actions and can use those actions as they need it. Now that I have walked through all the features of Amazon QuickSuite and how your SaaS application can use those features and enhance your application, and what is the customer benefit would look like. Now I'll take a pause, because I would request Brandon to talk about how they have integrated their Zoom application with Amazon QuickSuite. So Brandon.
Thank you so much. Well, it is so exciting to be here to talk to you about Zoom and our journey and how we've integrated with QuickSuite. But before we dive into all of that, I'd love to maybe set some context here. When we look out in the world these days and we talk to customers, we hear that the world has become noisy and fragmented. Now, this probably rings true to everyone in this room, having walked the strip and the exhibit hall. It's a little noisy here at the conference, but this is going beyond conferences. Workers are seeing more and more applications in their environments that they're being asked to use. And AI is starting to get rolled out, but it's becoming another tool, more friction. And folks are going, how do we leverage this technology to do better? And it's a clear challenge, and the market signals of this are extremely clear. When we look at the statistics, most organizations have over 93 applications deployed across their IT infrastructure. Think about the context switching when you're going between that many apps and onboarding employees. And so employees are looking for amazing AI. Most are looking for something that is purpose-built that's going to help them do their job better. And when you then talk to the IT buyer, they are investing in AI because they know how important it is. So the market signals are clear. This is the time. There is the demand. So it's really about how we action this as ISVs to take advantage of this moment. So with all this, you might be asking, why Zoom? I know Zoom because of the video conferencing. How does this fit in? Well, Zoom is actually a suite of products. Video conferencing was our initial flagship, but we've grown beyond that to a whole suite of communication, collaboration, business services to help across a full range of business use cases. So we are helping people with their video conferencing, but also helping them run their contact center, whiteboarding, collaborating in whatever format works well for them. But what you'll notice here across this entire diagram of our suite of products is there are two things bookending it. At the top is our AI platform with AI Companion that serves as connecting tissue across all of these features within the platform. But then on the other end, as you see on the bottom, there is the ecosystem, because we realize that it is important to connect across so many different tools that individuals use. It's part of the reason that Zoom has a chief ecosystem officer, and that's the role that I enjoy filling. Now, when I say an open ecosystem, I truly mean open at Zoom. We don't think about just integrations. It's really about how do we connect to the tools that folks want, because we don't want to replace the tools people have. We want to integrate seamlessly, so we're matching them and meeting them in their flow of work. And when we can build these experiences where you are able to connect data with the context, with the workflow, you create these magical moments where AI actually turns into something that isn't just supporting, it's fully enabling someone with their day-to-day work. Now, for us, AI has been a journey. Just a few years ago, we embarked in this by releasing our AI Companion 1.0 that started off with meeting summaries. But since then, we have continued to evolve the solution and are moving towards an agentic framework with our AI Companion 3.0. And we're very excited about what it can do and what an agentic framework allows and how it starts to connect work. Now, in order to do this and really have something that's agentic, we can't just work within our product. We have to be able to meet people where they are. And so with 3.0, we're actually expanding this platform to work across someone's day-to-day. You're seeing two examples here in the slide. On the left, we have My Notes, where someone is, as you can see there, in a Google Meet, but they're able to take notes using the Zoom platform, so we're meeting them with the tool in the session that they need. On the flip side, on the right, you can see someone that is using our AI Companion 3.0 for web, and they're querying it, but they're getting value from integrations that they've made with other products that they're using, such as Google Drive and Confluence. So it's all about bringing the data and the user into that amazing workflow exactly where they want to be. And so that's why we want to work with the tools that people use and not work around them. Because when you start to think about it, when you connect the context to the work, it creates this magic moment because the AI then knows the context, it's aware of what's happening, and you start to get to these moments where you can actually take a conversation all the way to completion. And so that's where we're designing and working on fitting our solution in. Now, it's been very exciting working with Amazon because we've been able to deliver on this value. And one of the great examples is the integration that we already have and that is working today with Amazon and AI Companion. tell me if this example rings very true to you. You're in a meeting, let's say talking about the latest sales numbers, or maybe it's a project planning meeting. There's that question that comes up where you need an answer to it, and how often is it that that would become a follow-up to go deep dive in the data? But with the power of having these platforms together, you can use AI that has the context of the conversation about what was important with the index data that Amazon has gathered across its indexes and merge that with AI so you can get the answer in that moment, and it's no longer a follow-up, it's actually a completed action, and you can move the business forward and continue to move faster at the growing pace that we have. And that's what truly excites us. But this is just the beginning of this journey. And as we all know, AI is evolving so quickly and opening so many cases. So along with that, Zoom is continuing to invest, and one of the areas that we're investing in is MCP. As was mentioned earlier, this is an exciting new protocol, and we are really excited about it because it allows us to extend the number of tools and connections that are available in the Zoom platform. And by connecting them, we're giving access to the ISVs that folks want to use in their day-to-day work. And MCP, due to its scalable nature, makes it very easy for us to onboard additional folks into the ecosystem and really unlock this connective tissue across an enterprise's tech stack. Now, when I talk about MCP, we're actually looking at it in two different formats. On one hand, Zoom wants to be an MCP client to be able to use those actions that are available from other ISVs so that they can access it within Zoom. But really, if we want to meet users where they are, it's also about Zoom providing an MCP server so that for other products and solutions, they can access the tools that Zoom have and meet the users in their context. And I think that's what really excites me when I talk about the work that we're doing with QuickSuite. Because when you think about this, we're now talking about the ability of two agents to be able to work with one another to empower the user and meet the user wherever they are to get the job that they want done. We're removing friction and complexity. The UI, the experience they want, it's there, and they have access to the data, the actions, and everything to get the work done that they're trying to do so that the technology fades away and they can focus on the work at hand. So this is what's really exciting to me, and this is an area that we're embarking in right now. And so with that, I'd love to show you the work that we've been doing with a very first preview out of our labs of that MCP server exposing our whiteboard feature that could be accessed from QuickSuite. So if we go to the video here, you can see that someone has been working in QuickSuite talking about an OAuth flow, and it's describing how that works. But words are one thing. You sometimes want a visual to understand that. So they can prompt within QuickSuite, and as it thinks through it, it's able to know that Zoom has a whiteboarding tool that can take that narrative and turn it into a sequence diagram. And so within a moment, Zoom has already come back with a quick link to pop someone instantly in a whiteboard that they can look through that sequence that they just saw described verbally, and they can then go in and edit and modify it. Think about this and this use case across so many different business processes. And this is just the beginning of what we're looking at. So I'm very excited seeing what we're doing here, and I know there's a lot more that we're going to do. When I look at our roadmap, this whiteboard is just the beginning. We're looking across people's day-to-day work effort, whether that's helping them prepare for the meeting, providing insight within the meeting, or taking those after actions, providing these options up so that Zoom and QuickSuite can work seamlessly to meet people where they are day to day is what's truly exciting to me. If you'd like to learn more about AI Companion, we've got a QR code, but it is so exciting to work together, and I look forward to the more we can do. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Brandon. Thank you, Brandon, to walk us through the applications Zoom applications and its integration not only with just index data, but with actions and how they have enhanced their application with QuickSuite. Now I will change the gear. We just looked into a use case that is a business application use case. It's a productivity improvement use case. And now we will look into a different kind of use case, and that is around the security and identity. And for that, we have Vibhuti from Savient to talk about their application and how they have integrated with Amazon QuickSuite.
Thank you, Sonali. Brendan, thank you so much. It was really, really cool to see what you guys are doing at Zoom, and I'm very sure that we are going to start taking a lot of advantage of those use cases. But now let's change gears, as Sonali rightly mentioned. Let's take a look at what are we doing with Amazon QuickSuite when it comes to securing identities, which is a serious business when you think about putting compliance, putting audit hats. And before I start talking about QuickSuite, let me just give you a very quick spiel of what has happened in identity security. If you rewind your clocks and go till 2014, 2015, what you would find is that identity security and governance was a mere compliance play. It was an audit play. It was thought of as a checkbox. Are you certifying your access? Are you looking at who is doing what with their access, whether it was for human identities or little bit of non-human identities in that case? But as 2015, 2016 happened, there was a series of breaches which happened, and they used identity as a launchpad. And what that changed in the identity world was that identity security became more of a security pillar. It became the cornerstone of any company's cybersecurity strategy. That truly changed the narrative of how identity security started evolving. And then fast forward, when you started looking at when generative AI started picking up, the biggest shift which is happening now in identity is this is now becoming a core pillar of any company's business transformation. If you are dealing with AI, if you have an AI strategy, which every organization on this planet is doing, you cannot have that strategy without having a comprehensive identity security strategy. To have a meaningful return on your investment with what you're doing with AI, you have to have an effective identity security strategy. That's the major shift. That's what happened. And the reason why this all happened was the definition of identities kept on changing. As I mentioned, till 2014, 2015, every organization on this planet was thinking about humans as an identity. But the definition of those humans also changed. Many of you would have noticed that during COVID times, there was a massive increase in supply chain workers. And that became a big notion of the definition of identities kept on changing and shifting from internal employees to external workers. Privileged users was always in the mix, but then the ratio and the whole rise of cloud really changed the dynamics with a massive explosion of non-human identities, which started, if I remember it correctly, in 2017, it used to be 1:4. Today, it sits somewhere between 1:60 to 1:85. That's the ratio with which the identities have exploded. And now with all the work what the industry is doing on generative AI, AI agents are the new norm. The trend what we are seeing is that every organization who have been in this experimentation phase, they are now really putting these agents to work in production environments, and this is getting more and more serious. So that's what the evolution of identity was, and so far it has been going on. And that is why we have been investing in Savient. We truly believe that this is a single most versatile unified platform to secure and govern any and every identity which you have for enterprises, for organizations who are looking to secure and govern their identity ecosystem. Now let's take a look at some of the deterrents of when a company starts building their identity security strategy, or the ones who are already having it, where are the common pitfalls and how our work with Amazon has been really a game-changing thing in this. And I'll give you a very quick story. I started my reinvent in 2012, and that was the year when identity platforms were predominantly run or used to run on-premise environments. Less than 3% of identity projects worldwide were successful. Like, let that number sink in. Less than 3% of identity projects used to succeed worldwide, and the reason being was upgrading an identity platform used to take months. But our partnership, I still remember spinning my first EC2 instance on Amazon. It was a very proud moment for us, taking our entire solution, deploying it on Amazon, and then the customer started realizing the benefit. You won't believe when I say that today it takes few hours to completely patch, upgrade, and go from one version to another. In 2010, this was unheard of. This was practically impossible to do it. So let's again talk about some of the deterrents here. If you walk into a CISO's room, the first thing they would be worried about is, how am I going to be prepared for my audits? Every CISO, they worry about two things. One, I'm going to fail my audit because I don't know what I don't know. And second is the amount of time it takes to prepare for audits is insanely large. The reason being is your data is absolutely fragmented. Your data is very siloed. Second one is, even today, identity security is done in a way that it is often thought of like shooting in the dark. There's a lot of guesswork in this. There's a lot of reactiveness to it. And the reason, again, being is that if you think about identity data quality or data hygiene, it's the poorest in any organization. It has come to a state where organizations have accepted the status quo, thinking that the quality of your data is never going to improve. And that's, again, where we are partnering a lot with Amazon, their machine learning and their generative AI, large language models to help improve the data hygiene and the data quality. And then the last one, which is the most important one, is integration with Quick Suite, integration with Amazon Q, and many other technologies allows us to bridge the gap, allows us to remove this fragmentation. In fact, today, if you think about every enterprise, they have something around network security. They have third-party products for securing their endpoints. But the only context which connects what is happening across your entire ecosystem is identity. And that has been missing in many organizations, which is why the whole ecosystem of bridging this gap where systems can share data easily becomes a very predominant play, and that's what we are working on. So as you start thinking about these deterrents and you start thinking about how you can craft an effective strategy, what's very important and I'm very excited about is the work what we are doing with Quick Suite. So if you take a look at what we are doing, on the very top are your crown jewels, the most critical, the most important applications or platforms. And Amazon Quick Suite, to Sonali's point, they're already ingesting data. They're already ingesting ACLs, permissions, all of that information from here. And the consumers of identity platform, they can interact with Saviynt because they don't have to deal with having these point integrations. Saviynt ingests all this data from Quick Suite. They apply identity orchestrations. They apply identity context to it. And then that basically allows a customer to have a frictionless experience when they are thinking about consuming and interacting with an identity platform. And needless to say, the benefits, what we are seeing, and I'll give you some numbers here. The first one is all about certification or access reviews. If you are not aware of what an access review is, think about it in this way, that especially in publicly traded companies or heavily regulated companies, what your employees are having access to or what your non-human identities have access to, every line item has to be certified. Now, multiply this for an organization which has, let's say, 55,000 employees. It's very common. The amount of line items for anybody to certify goes in millions, which means that organizations spend a lot of money, often millions of dollars, to go through these access reviews. Now, the thing what has happened over a course of period is we started seeing, and it's a trend, it's a word used in identity world very often, it's called rubber stamping. If I'm going to give you 1,700 line items to review that these are your people who report into you, go and certify their access, what's the best thing you will do? You will select all, you will say, this is all good, let's go and get this done with. In publicly traded companies, what happens is, if there is something wrong, it can be flagged as a material finding which goes into your earnings report. That's the impact of doing these things incorrectly. So again, where I was going with this is, if you see some of the cost savings, both in terms of effort, both in terms of the amount of money you will spend in audit findings, etc., it is absolutely massive. And that is why we are so positive, so bullish about these integrations. Now let's take a look at all the things what I have spoken about. How does this all things comes into fruition? How does this all things look practically? And this is again fresh coming out of the work what we have been doing with Quick. The first use case which I'm showing you here is all about audit preparedness. It's about starting with an assessment of your entire platform and then building what is going to happen and where are the pitfalls. The part which you will find here is that building these assessment reports is not easy. Usually organizations spend a lot of money, a lot of time in hiring external SMEs who are going to collect this data from multiple different systems. And then they start building where exactly and what exactly the strategy of your audit preparedness should look like. The important part here is that when you start looking at the integration with Quick Suite, Quick allows us to ingest this data from multiple different sources. You can start talking to this data through our MCP or Model Context Protocol interface. And rather than a human trying to connect the dots by building several different reports, trying to figure out where the blind spots are, it all starts coming together in one single way through a conversational experience. That's the power of this integration, number one. Number two is if you start looking at some of the action items, how do you orchestrate, who do you assign what to do, it all starts coming together. And I will show you another aspect of how can we use flows using this. I'll give you another example. Let's say you are on vacation. And after your vacation, you come back, let's say 10 days, 15 days. There's a bunch of requests pending in. One thing which every organization and every consumer of an identity platform absolutely hate is requesting access and approving access. And let's say if you have 37 approvals to be done, how would you know which ones to approve first? How would you know that if I do not approve 36th one today and rather approve the first one, it's going to create a security gap or it's going to create a compliance issue? The integration with Quick Suite allows us not only to craft a strategy of which ones you should be looking at first, but it also gives you why it should be done first. And that is, again, a really game-changing thing what we are looking at, because it really helps as a smart assistant to you or you as a decision maker to figure out if you have a bunch of things to do, which ones should you be doing first and why you should be doing it first. This is a very different way of thinking and understanding how identity platforms behave. And again, we are absolutely, absolutely proud of our work with what and how Amazon has been partnering with us on this. So this is all about assessment. This is all about consuming the information, chalking out a strategy, figuring out what to do, how to do. Let's take a look at another one, which is something which is absolutely near and dear to me, and it's about identity orchestration. Identity orchestration is the most complex management task in any identity platform. And I'll give you an example. If you think about building an access request workflow, one of the largest healthcare provider of North America I have been working on, when you look at their access workflow, it doesn't fit on a 49-inch ultra-wide monitor. It is absolutely insane when you think about such complex workflows on how are you going to manage and maintain it on a day-to-day basis. And when we started looking at Quick Suite flows capability, what really jumped was that I think there is a time, this is the tipping point we have been waiting for, where we can really alleviate these complex tasks and have an easy way to manage these orchestration tasks. So let's take a look at this. Oops. So let's take a look at it. In this case, what you would find is that we start building an access request workflow. But access request workflow should be done in such a way that any entitlement, any permission, any application which I'm requesting for, and if it's of a low risk, it should not even come to me. And that's where the push towards autonomous governance is going to look like. So what we are showing you here is very simple. Check for all the pending requests what you have. Look for the risk flags. Look for any kind of risk which is embedded into that request. And then make an intelligent decision whether it should be requiring a human in the loop to come and approve it, or it should be automatically approve it. And this is all done through natural language experience. You do not have to create, you do not have to manage an orchestrating workflow, which again can have multiple failure points. And it allows you to push the boundaries, take it forward towards a human-in-the-loop manual workflows, towards a completely autonomous system. That's where the future is. That's where we are really, really bullish on. And just to give you some more stats, on an average, 125 applications exist in any enterprise. The average number of requests which flows into your system is 225,000 to 255,000 in a month. That's what happens in large enterprises. With such autonomous integrations, with such risk-based approvals, what we are expecting is a 90% reduction in all these workflows which are going through. And again, Quick plays a very important role. Their flows is really, really promising. And we are really bullish on how this can completely change the paradigm of how identity security and governance is done, especially in large enterprises. So with that being said, we are again very bullish. We are thankful to Amazon for their partnership. This is just a start. We are just scratching the surface, as they say. It's day one. And we absolutely are inviting a lot of our customers, prospects, design partners to come and build more onto this. So I hope this was useful. Sonali, once again, thank you very much.
Thank you, Vibhuti. Thank you so much. Now that you looked into how an application focused on security and how they have enhanced their application with Amazon Quick Suite. And if you want to know more about Zoom as well as Savient's application, we have resources for you. Please take a look to go further deeper into the use cases and how they have integrated with Amazon Quick Suite. There are additional use cases that the SaaS application can support with Amazon Quick Suite. For that, we have additional resources for you to go a little deeper into Amazon Quick Suite. It has a documentation, as well as if you want to play around, have the hands-on workshop, we have the resources for that as well. And not the least, if you are an ISV partner of us, please reach out. There is a form in the QR code that you can directly collaborate with us and Amazon Quick Suite. Let's build something innovative together and democratize the workplace. With that, I want to thank you. Thank you, everyone, for being here.